From the beginning to the end, losers lose and winners win. You are at the home of the winners. It is the Thirsty Thursday Showdown slate here. Showdown, NBA Showdown. I'm JTHayes. You know the drill. As soon as you come in, hit the like. We get to 5,000 likes on this show, and we're going to give you the plays of the day. Moving forward, I was talking about winners in just this past week. Our guy Ian, Big T, JSU, and now Toe Tag and Tambo all punch their tickets to the DraftKings Live Final. Big T, I'll start with you. You're going to be like Felonious Gru from Minions over there at the Live Final with JSU and Tambo following you around. How's your Thirsty Thursday going?
It's always good when I get to come on this free show with you guys. I look forward to Thursdays now. I'm on the premium a lot these days. I like coming on with the people, especially with you two, because I get tired of looking at John S's ugly ass.
Well, he's going to be at the Live Final. He's going to be with Toe Tag and Tambo. Sweet Travis, you and I have to get on the horse here and punch our tickets. It
would kind of be fun if everyone stamps a ticket. We got to get Sweet Travis to actually play a cue, though, to get in.
That's true. You got to get. I mean, it's in Denver.
It's $100 or something. What is it tonight? I think it's $100.
It's only $140. I cannot.
You better have one in there, Sweet Travis. It's time. It's time to punch your ticket.
This is one of Tony's favorite tricks, to see how hard he can get me to like join something.
No, that's when it's like a $1,500. A $140 is a given.
You're right. It's not much, but
$1,500 is a tougher sale.
Yeah. No, that's fair. But this is my issue. But the boys being there makes me want to get in. But it's in Denver. I feel like I can, hit up a DK rep and slide my way in there if I want to.
AP, don't allow this on your show. Don't let them be soft like this.
Yeah,
He's gonna hit up the rap.
You got qualifiers. You got qualifiers that you could play for as little as $10. You could go up to a qualifier for like $100 to get into the 3180 queue. I've been grinding those. And it's not bad. I got a couple of 888 tickets, a milli ticket out of it. So get your ass in there, Sweet Travis.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll break down the slate. We'll talk about it. I'll see if I jump in there. There's still spots. I see it staring at me, wants me to jump in. So we'll see if I decide to get in there. And obviously, as we talk about this slate, I do have a bone to pick with Tony, right? Because I listened to the whatever podcast he did today, and he's still just. Again, he made fun of me for taking the dump on the main floor. I heard that. I took my L, right? I took my L and said, my apologies. I made a huge mistake. And he keeps going at me for it. So, you know what, Tony?
What do you think about that, JT? Like, what would you do if someone took a dump on your main floor?
Well, listen, I remember the smell. So, I mean, it was not a very pleasant experience if you were in the house. Hearing the groans, hearing the grunting from the main bathroom, and then the odor, the just vicious odor that circulated the main floor. Listen, I mean, you just can't be doing that. And look, there was no surprise when he crawled out of the fucking bathroom. We knew who it was.
Again, I did it the first year. Second year, some people tried to flip it on me. It wasn't me, and I won't do it again. Right? It was my mistake. You know what I mean? And so
the second year is still a mystery. Did someone try to frame you?
Someone did try and frame me for that other one, and I was like,
it had to be DC if someone was trying to frame you.
Oh yeah, people definitely tried to frame me for that. I said, no. I was downstairs there. Don't worry, I made sure to go to my bathroom down in the old basement, which is always a nice little cozy.
You'll love this too, Sweet Travis. So I started a thread. We're gonna do these underdog best ball shows. So I started a little 3-person text thread with JT and DC, not knowing that neither one of them had the other's phone number. Yeah. So JT puts the pieces together real quick and starts antagonizing him, saying just how JT always does.
Yeah.
He still doesn't know who the other guy is on the thread, so he's super nervous. He's not watching this, so he still won't know.
That's incredible. So DC has no idea it's JT. Yeah. It could be Nick, the CEO, right? Pounded it home on him. Oh, that's amazing.
He was very cautious. Didn't come back. All he said was, as I said when Big T sends me the text, I see it. I see the area code. I'm like, it's probably DC. And as soon as the other guy, and it was DC, comes back, he says, oh, yeah, I've already been grinding. I'm like, yep, that's exactly who it is. I was like, oh, man, the fun I'm going to have signing you up for text alerts for various products. And he was like, the worst part is I can't even get revenge because I don't know who it is. And I was like, yeah, but you have the number, idiot. I mean, you can set me up for text alerts too, which is a detractor of why I probably won't do it. So there you go. And look, Travis, I mean, look, the honest to God truth is the shit smelled so bad that we're going to rent a house this year. Tony doesn't even want us in the house. Amber said, keep that fucker away. That stinky fuck is not coming and staying on my couch. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a little hurtful, but you never know. I might be there a little bit longer, right? Who knows? Tony might need me out on the golf course to embarrass myself. Maybe I need to play some slab matches a little bit longer.
Maybe this time me and you will play JSU and Uncle T.
That would be more ideal, I'd say that. But we'll have to see. Obviously, should be a lot of fun. I can't wait for the slab though. That's gonna be exciting. Is the Big T and Titletown match happening? That's the thing I need to know. Is that all?
It definitely could. We got to see how. Last year he bailed on me. I'm not going to play him when I'm not ready. This time I think it'll happen, but I'm not giving a commit because I know Title. He's going to hold me to it. So I'm waiting until a little closer to officially declare in.
Have you been putting the work in on the slab, Tony? Have you been hitting the treadmill?
Can't be giving all the secrets out, JT. I mean, this is classified information. I will play CDome either way, though, for the record. CDome, we got 1,000. He's drawing stone, cold, dead. I mean, full court, half court, whatever he wants, the weird rules, it doesn't matter. He will be losing.
Full court between CDome and Big T.
Yeah, I mean, he said full court or something. I just laughed at him.
All right, well, keep an eye out for that. Go ahead, hit the like button. Remember, 5,000 likes, and you guys get the place of the day. Can't even keep a straight face with that number. We'll look maybe in the middle of the show. We'll think about exactly what we're doing in terms of the number. Matty Ice 704, Matty, my guy, good to have you in chat. The answer is absolutely yes, fucking yes. Go ahead, unsubscribe, resubscribe. Code JTHayes15 gets you 15% off. If you're the 50th person to subscribe by 3 o'clock tomorrow, I'll buy your year. Go ahead, JTHayes15, the only code that works here at Run Pure Sports. We got a 4-game slate, a ton of news, a ton of trades today. Nothing that stands out today as really, really earth-shattering. A lot of minor pieces moving around. Of course, the big trades made yesterday. And on this 4-game slate, Sweet Travis, we'll start with you. So much news. There's going to be a ton of value. A lot of these guys who have been traded are either in the air. I mean, Mo Bamba's suspended for 2 games. So we got a choice. We got to have some choices. It seems like a slate where it's going to be a 2v2 or a 3v3. Maybe just from cashing to shipping, you got to pick the right spend ups. What do you see here overall, state of the slate?
Yeah, speaking of Mo Bamba, he packed his stuff up in like literally an hour. Like he had the moving truck and everything, like took the picture. He's like, I'm getting out of town. So Mo Bamba was definitely ready to get out of Orlando. But yeah, we have a slate where the clear first 2 starting points are what do you do with the Suns and what do you do with the Lakers? That's the first key. That's where I'm starting with here. So we got to decide how many bodies do they have. Me and Tony were kind of counting before the show. I think it's 9 bodies for the Suns and 8 for the Lakers.
I found one more for the Lakers, so I think they both got 9.
Who's the other body?
Cole Swider, I think.
Yeah, him. Yeah,
I think he's on the team.
Yeah, as long as he is called up. But they only have 9 bodies. Obviously, it's going to be a key spot to go to. You have on the Lakers side, AD is 10.2K. The rest of the guys are all 5K and below. And then on the Suns side, you have an extreme amount of value, but you do have only two plays that are a bit more expensive, but they're not at the 10K range. DeAndre Ayton, he is at 7.9. Chris Paul at 7.3. The third most expensive guy, 4.1. So it's clearly going to be a day where you want to get exposure to both of them and then figure out what are the best spend ups, right? Jokic going to be one of the best spend ups on the slate, but is he worth it at that ownership compared to some other options? So that's going to be how we kind of look at this slate. Going to be a really key point. Looking at ownership and trying to make decisions on that. And you're not going to have a Lakers starting lineup, right? That game is a little bit later. So that's going to be another interesting point of making some pivots later on in the night. And I don't know, who knows? Maybe you make a big fade like of Jokic and go to a Giannis instead. Because I think Jokic is going to gain some more ownership, but we'll discuss it as we go along. But it's a clear day where you need to find the right mix of how many Lakers, how many Suns, and then what spend ups you're going for.
Tony, in terms of this slate, right, you're looking at that game. You've got LeBron has been ruled out, Anthony Davis in, but on the other side, Brook Lopez, Giannis against this Lakers team that has just been terrible at guarding opposing centers, opposing big men, the athleticism of Giannis against this Swiss cheese defense of the Lakers. And of course, the Phoenix and Atlanta game is interesting as well. What's your overall opinion of the slate before we go game by game? It is just a 4-gamer on Thursday's slate.
Yeah, it's going to be as interesting of a 4-gamer as you could possibly have, just because not only do we have a lot of fill-in pieces with these trades, but we got the three of the biggest studs in good spots too. I mean, AD and Giannis in the late game, both just phenomenal spots. Jokic has been the best player all year again. So you got 3 guys. I mean, you couldn't – it's not possible to fit all 3, is it? I don't think it is. I'm sure it's not, but I just wanted to make – if it was all 3K guys, could you fit them all?
I mean, you have to put them all in there. The other thing we didn't point out too is if Jamal Murray sits, right, all those like other Nuggets mid-tier values open up along with like the Suns mid-tiers of Ayton and Chris Paul. So it could be an interesting day.
You could play all 3 of them, just for the record. I wanted to make sure that it was physically possible, because we do have a lot of 3K guys. I mean, just throwing it in there. You got Lonnie Walker's 3-1, Jock 3K, Okogie 3K, Damian Lee 3-2, Troy Brown 3-4-ish 3. I mean, it's possible. And it could be a night where it's actually in play, to me at least. I mean, these 3K guys are going to play minutes. So, and these studs are going to nuke. So, I mean, that's my starting point, really. You got to play at least 2 of them in my mind because of all the cheap guys. I mean, you got Lonnie Walker at 3,100. I mean, that's just like a mortal lock. So you have 1 3K and AD. I don't really know how, unless you just think that Milwaukee just totally blows them out, which could happen. So that's a game theory move too, a little bit, where maybe you play all the cheap Lakers guys with Giannis and Jokic and kind of some of the Phoenix pieces mixed in there or something. But to me, as long as the Lakers stay somewhat close, it's just very, very hard to see fading AD or Lonnie Walker or even Schroeder for that matter. So I definitely value the Lakers probably a little bit more than Phoenix. But that being said, I mean, Milwaukee could definitely blow the doors off this team.
And if that happens, then given the state of the other teams and the value and guys like Ayton and Paul, and if DeRozan sits, if Murray sits, maybe you don't want Giannis. Maybe you want Joker with the mid-range and then 2 or 3 of the best value plays in that 3K range, 4K range. So a lot of decisions, a lot of ways to go here. We'll get into it. The first game, of course, is Denver visiting Orlando. They are 6-point favorites at 231.5 total. And bear with me, guys, because there's a lot of news. So I'm going to have to look down as I'm reading this. Thomas Bryant and Zeke Naji not expected to play. Patrick Beverly is not going to be playing. Jamal Murray is questionable. I think Gary Harris, Chuma Okeke are out for the Magic. And, of course, the aforementioned Mo Bamba is on his way to Los Angeles. Tony, start with you here. Denver, Orlando, we were talking about Joker. Really good matchup, especially over the last 2 weeks for opposing centers. It doesn't matter, though. Joker can do this against any team, regardless of defense. It just helps that this is a good matchup. He has been, in terms of productivity, fantasy productivity, a little bit better, a little bit more secure in terms of the upside at home. They are on the road all the way across the country. Thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, this game looks like the simplest game of the night for me, which I'm glad that it's in the early slot too, because Orlando, I mean, when you have spots like Phoenix and the Lakers shorthanded and decent spots, I just can't see a reason to play Orlando, guys. And it's the early game too on top of it. You look at these prices. I mean, Wendell Carter is projected like the best play, 6K. He's fine. And I know some people in the chat, like Jake, say balanced build is the way today, I think. I just don't see that even remotely. You have 3K guys that are going to be great plays, and we have studs that are great plays. So I just will not end up on the mid-range. What gets me off, guys like Wendell Carter anyways. Suggs and these guys, I think, are decent plays, but I'm not playing Jalen Suggs over a Phoenix or Lakers guy. I'm just not doing it with the clear usage boost. So I think Orlando is by far the easiest fades of the night, like just full fade for me. And the Nuggets are close to it, honestly. Like they're going to get this new rotation set. They got rid of Bones. they added a few key pieces. I love the Thomas Bryant pickup. Obviously, he won't be there tonight, but they're going to get things settled. I don't know if Jamal. I don't really even care if Jamal plays that much because with Phoenix and the Lakers, like Mangone, like Sweet Travis started this show with. I don't know. I just simplify. It's how I play NBA. It's what I believe in. I don't think you need to overcomplicate things. So for me in this first game, it's truly just going to be yoke. I'm trying to find, maybe you could, if Jamal is out, maybe you could go to like Aaron Gordon or Porter. But again, that's in that mid-range. I just don't see myself falling in the mid-range builds. So for me, it's just going to be yoke, even if Jamal ends up out.
Travis, you on the same page, or you like some of those plays if Murray sits?
Yeah, so I think I'm a little different than Tony. I'm not totally off of what he's saying. I think he brings up really good points. And at the end of the day, raw points do matter, right? I know Giannis the other day didn't have a big game, but Jay Shu won his live final seat still having Giannis, because when you have all these value plays that put up like 30, 40, right, can get you there, then it just comes into raw points being a play. And you could make an argument that Aaron Gordon could put up 50 DK points. So one thing you might be able to do is that build of playing Jokic with one of 80 or Giannis. That's likely a very popular route paired with Chris Paul. What if you changed Chris Paul to Aaron Gordon? Is that the craziest idea, to still have that kind of stars and scrubs build and find a different mid-tier option? No, that's not crazy at all. And I wouldn't be shocked if you could throw Aaron Gordon in there and maybe be able to grab another mid-tierish option, like maybe a Bruce Brown, right? Obviously, you don't want to take too many guys from the same team where they can cut to each other's ceilings. But the point being is, I think the Aaron Gordons, the Bruce Browns, the Jokic's, I think they're in play and in the conversation. But the full-on balance build, I just don't know if that's it. I don't think you can and by balance build, if you really think you're going to do a balance build today, that means going in and Xing out Jokic, Giannis, AD, and then running the optimizer.
It's not just that either. You got to fade guys like Lonnie Walker even to do it. You're crazy to do that.
Yeah. So let's say you are someone that thinks that the balance build is the way. Go to runpuresports.com, use that code JTHayes15, go on to SaberSim, make sure you buy that as well. X out the studs, like I said, run it and see what it looks like. And then decide, is it worth the projection drop? Is it a build that you think is the right way to go? I'm kind of in the camp of Tony. I don't think that's the way to do it. Maybe the way to do it is to play three of the studs like you talked about. Like I said, the key point that I noticed when running stuff is Chris Paul, Jokic, and then one of 80 or Giannis is the guy. So find maybe a way to be different there. Maybe the way to be different is maybe a lot of teams are going 3 Lakers and 3 Suns. Maybe you just say, I'm going 4 Lakers and 1 Sun, right? And that's a way to make it different. Look for those ways to go about it. That's the kind of ways that I try to play these slates, where there are clear plays that you have to play, right? Like there's no doubt you need to get exposure to these guys. You just have to find a slight way to make it different than the field. But overall, Jokic, a great play. Probably you could argue he's like the best spend up on the slate overall, especially if Murray misses, just because of how good his floor is, because the Lakers could easily get washed by the Bucks. Jokic's floor is just absolutely incredible. If Murray misses, good spot for Aaron Gordon, helps Bruce Brown's ball handling abilities, gives him a little bit more involved. But those guys, Aaron Gordon and Brown, they wouldn't be priority plays, but they would be strong plays that you can consider, but you have to compare them versus the values in the Suns and Lakers game.
Yeah, definitely the game theory that Tony was talking about in terms of fading the big names from that Laker game and saying, you know what, I think that there's a good chance here that the Lakers can't keep up. The other point, though, is Milwaukee's on the road. I don't recall them blowing out a lot of teams on the road. So there's a good chance that maybe that game stays competitive as well. So definitely going to take a look at ownership as we get closer to lock and see what it looks like. We'll move on, though, to the next game. Phoenix, the Suns, coming right here to the ATL, to Atlanta. They're playing the Hawks. Saddiq Bey, who can actually be a stud at times if given minutes. Interesting pickup for the Hawks there. He's out tonight, though. Bruno Fernando, Garrison Matthews will not play. They will not make their debut. Darius Baisley is not going to play for Phoenix. Devin Booker is out. Campaign, Landry Shamet, TJ Warren is out. Josh Okogie is in. Who really cares? Travis, stay with you. Suns at the Hawks.
Yeah, so one interesting thing with this slate, with this Suns options, is a lot of teams are going to have Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton, and for good reason. They're good plays today. But kind of like Tony said, let's say you go the 3 stud build above 10K, which you can do today. It's not possible. Well, that gives you a completely different construction than the field, because what does that mean? It means you can't get those options. Like when I had a pretty good hit this year, it was because I grabbed Tatum and Luka, and I wasn't able to get all those mid-tier Raptors options. And when they busted, it worked out well. So let's say those Suns studs bust. Well, if for some reason they bust, it's because Paul probably does bad and Ayton, and then you have all those values absolutely clean up on the Suns side. So I think that build is really intriguing that he talked about, and I think these Suns are really good plays. If we're going to kind of compare which Sun that we want to play, I think Damian Lee is pretty easily one of the options put at the top. They are playing the Atlanta Hawks, and JT, you know the Atlanta Hawks, they play 0 defense, so it's a great spot for these Suns options. Also, Jock Landale, I mean, yes, I know Ayton's there, but Landale's a really good fantasy producer, and the dude's only 3K. So, yes, positions matter. That's going to be key. And if you decide to spend on AD and Jokic, then you can't grab him as a value. But I do think Landale, if he had the power forward eligibility, he would land on a lot more teams. But I think overall he is a good value on this slate. You got Josh Okogie at 3K. He's another guy. And one thing that's key with him is he is guard and forward eligible. So I think he will be put onto a lot of teams. His ownership will be up there, but he's a good value that you can go to and go to play a lot of minutes, because again, they only have 9 bodies there in Phoenix. So those are 3 good values that you want to look at. Torrey Craig is 4.1K. I don't hate him in this spot. Not someone I'm prioritizing, more of like one of those last piece ins on the Suns that I'm considering. I do really like Chris Paul's spot though at 7.3K. You just have to decide, do I like Chris Paul or do I want to fade one of those other studs up top? Like, let's say you played Chris Paul and you faded Jokic and went Giannis and AD. I think that makes you different right then and there with that build. So overall, I think the two of the most popular plays today are probably Chris Paul and Jokic. But you got to think about how you play them at times. And I think Ayton could get squeezed now a bit because a lot of people want to play AD and they want to play Jokic. So how can you play Ayton on your team? So I think you will see his ownership a little more suppressed. He still will have some ownership, but it's not going to be as high because, again, you can only play 2 centers on a site. And if you decide to play, 2 of the 3, and I know you can put Giannis at power forward, but if you decide to play Jokic and AD at center and util, well, you've ran out of center spots. So that's one other point to mention when thinking about rostering DeAndre Ayton today and how that can give you a bit of a different build.
Tony, DeAndre Ayton did drop 35 points. I think he also had 15 rebounds the other night against the Nets at literally 0 ownership because everyone was paying up at the center position or other guys. And then Mr. Patrick Rice wonders, does anyone think Trae Young just drops the hammer on this shorthanded Suns team at home? The challenge for me, Tony, has been when Trae and DeJounte are in, the upside hasn't been there for Trae like it has in years past. You almost need someone out. That being said, the price has come down. It is a good matchup. What do you see here? Is there a way to get different and play a little Trae Young or DeAndre Ayton?
Yeah, I mean, it does come down to that for sure, because obviously everyone pretty much uses projections these days. All the sites are similar. Run Pure, whatever site you use for the projections is going to be similar. And these top guys are going to be, like I said, AD, Giannis, Jokic. So if you get in that, and Chris Paul too, like Sweet Travis said, as the drop-down option. So those other guys are going to get squeezed in there. The issue for me is exactly what you said, and maybe I simplify it too much. Again, I'm not like I play 150 on FanDuel, but DK, I really haven't played 150 all that much just because I don't think I'm as good as those guys at it in NBA. I don't know. Like, I just narrow it down. I just don't find myself getting to Trae with DeJounte in there. All of a sudden, if news hits or something, though, and one of them ends up out, I mean, you could definitely get on them. But with both of them in, I just don't see how they're better plays than the Phoenix guys or the Lakers guys, the studs. I just don't see it. So I put them in the Orlando, maybe slightly above Orlando, because they have upside. I mean, Trae Young could get 60, DeJounte could get 60 and win the slate for sure. But I just don't see myself personally getting there. Looking at some of the prices of the other guys, Capella, John Collins, again, mid-range guys. I'm just not playing $5,900 for Clint Capella when I can pay $3K for a Phoenix guy in the similar spot. Like very similar to me. A projection, sure, probably not. If I could pick either one at the same price, I'd pick Capella, but I don't think it's that far off.
But he's also center eligible, Tony. That position is so valuable today, right? Because
when you got two of the three studs only center, it makes it very difficult.
And you have value centers, like it's just
that's what I mean. Center definitely is a premium.
Yep, agreed.
So yeah, I mean, one thing I know I talked about it, but the 3-stud build will get you off of like Jock Landale, who's going to be somewhat popular tonight, as long as he starts. Like whoever starts, I'm looking at the roster. I don't know if he'll start. Just looking at it.
No, it probably won't with 8 in there, right? Like I assume. The key, Tony, is it's going to get you off Chris Paul. You can't play Chris Paul.
I mean, I'm not playing Chris Paul anyways.
So. But that's what I'm saying. Chris Paul is one of the highest owned plays in the slate. So the key to the 3-stud build that you're talking about right now is it gets you off all those mid-tier options that people might be playing. And one that they are for sure is Chris Paul. So if he's 60% owned and the mid-tier build is not the build, or not
Chris Paul's going to be 60% owned.
I mean, he's gonna be very high today. I mean,
I think he's the worst play of the slate for sure. Then
he is for sure the number one mid-tier option that people are putting on their teams. That way they can
just because he's 7,300.
Well, he's 7,300, which is too cheap for him in this role with only 9 bodies against the Atlanta defense. And with Chris Paul, you can grab.
They're not going to get blown out.
Well. Yeah, I'm just letting you know. No doubt going to be high. He's going to be 50%, 60%. He's going to have a lot of ownership.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, again, it's simple. I don't think I'm going to Atlanta, and I like these cheap bodies from Phoenix. Like Damian Lee is a near lock for me. Josh Okogie at 3K is a near lock to me. I love those price tags of those guys. Ayton, I can't see at center. We just talked about this. Jokic, AD, center only. Jock Landale, Bismack. I wouldn't play Bismack probably, but these guys are center only. 3K. I'm not playing DeAndre Ayton. I know he's smashed. I just don't see it tonight, and I take stands. That's how I like to build. So I won't be on him. I would even play a guy like Saban Lee over. I'd play anyone over those guys for the most. I like all the cheap Phoenix pieces, and Torrey Craig. You can definitely pay. He's going to play a ton of minutes if the game stays close. He's 4,100. Those are kind of the plays I like too, where everyone plays Ayton and CP or the cheapies. Torrey Craig gets squeezed a little bit a lot of times. He'll still be owned. I'm not saying he's going to be like 10%, but for a guy that could play like 38 minutes if the game stays close, I think he'll be too low owned as well. So I think Phoenix is a great spot. It starts at 7:30. The good part about this slate, we don't love a ton at 7. We're going to have all the lineups from the 7:30 games, especially Phoenix. Whoever starts, and I'm assuming Damian Lee will probably start, Okogie. I mean, who's the 5 we think? Obviously, CP, Ayton, Torrey Craig, Okogie, Damian Lee. Is that the 5?
The only reason I could see Damian Lee not starting is if they wanted to have a ball handler off the bench. But I guess you can make the argument Saban Lee is going to be the backup to Chris Paul, so they don't need that ball handler off the bench. So, and I don't know who else would fit the role of like a 2, like, because you can't go. Yeah, it's probably that, and then Saban Lee probably becomes the direct replacement for Chris Paul, and then that leaves obviously if you look at. One thing I like to look at and makes a really good argument for playing the Damian Lees and the Josh Okogie, not just because they're 3K, but who on earth fills the gap on the wings, especially when you have Ish Wainwright, Jock Landale, you got Bismack Biyombo, DeAndre Ayton. I just listed 4 guys that are kind of like 5s and 4s. Like Ish Wainwright isn't like really a 3, right, Tony? I'm trying to think through the type of player he is, but
he's a little bit of a wing.
But he's obviously a really awful one too, right? Yeah. So like the point I'm getting at though is like the key is Ayton, Bismack, and Landale. They all play the 5. So in reality, you're not going to see those guys all like play on the court together that much. So they all soak up just the 5 minutes, which is 48, which allows
Atlanta does play a little bigger too, though. So that's why I think Jock and Bismack will project at least decent. I can see them running 2 big lineups with it. The way Atlanta plays with
But
Collins
not that long. It's not going to be.
I'm not saying like long periods, but I don't know. I mean, these guys are so freaking cheap. Like Jock Landale, I have a hard time playing him though because I want to play AD and Yoke.
Because it's center. That's the exact key. That's why you make the case that Okogie, who has guard and forward eligibility, can slot into way more spots than a guy like Landale. Like, I love Landale. So much fun to watch, but the problem with him is he has center eligibility. If he had the power forward eligibility, he would easily slide in a little bit more there. So that's the issue that you're going to run into with him.
He's another guy too. I just don't quite understand the projection for Landale, like around the industry. Talk about this a bunch, but I know it's not the same exact spot, but some of the spots where guys have been out, even in games when Ayton was out, I mean, he just hasn't fully got there. Like, I'm looking back at his games. I don't know exactly which ones this quick, but I mean, he had a 35-point game. And then a bunch of low 20s. I don't really understand how you can project him for 26, 27 points when with Ayton in there, like you said. I think he's a good play for sure, but I also think his projection is too high. Like, I would project Damian Lee and Okogie for sure over Jock Landale, and that's not what's happening right now.
Well, there's opportunity cost at the position. It's like if you were saying, hey, I'm looking to play Sam Darnold this week at quarterback, and it's like, well, that's a problem when you have just like all these amazing quarterbacks to spend up for. One of them's going to find a way to get there, right? So I just think there's also value in other places, right? Like, you're not struggling for value. So why on earth are you spending down at your quarterback when you have all these value wide receivers? You have all these value plays at the guard and forward spot. So there's not as much reason to do that. Sure, will you get Landale a little bit lower owned? I think he's a good play, but I do worry there's a little too much opportunity cost there. If I happen to find a team with him that I like, sure, I'll go with it, but I do worry about the opportunity cost at the center position a lot.
Big T, Daniel Mardoff, I think that's how you pronounce his name. If it's not, it is now. Wants to know, Big T, the GOAT, did you talk Ish Smith? Big T, do you have any thoughts on Ish Smith on this slate?
So I made fun of him the other night, and I honestly haven't looked till right now. So he played 29 minutes. Bones didn't get any run, and it was a 40-point game. He still only got 21 fantasy points. I'm an Ish Smith fan, but I just, on a slate like this, there's no chance I'm playing Ish Smith over these other two teams. No chance.
Our guy Austin is in here, and Nadestify, he's been killing. Actually, everyone on the NBA team has been killing it. Gary with a second place finish, I think, in a single entry. It's been just amazing. Go ahead. If you're not already a member, I mean, shame on you because everyone's going to the live final. Go ahead and use code JTHayes15. You get 15% off of something. I think it's your first month's payment. I'm not really sure. You'll find out when you use code JTHayes15. And Big T, even though Evan Mobley ended up on the winner last night, could be a situation like Cleveland where, hey, maybe it's just a good idea with Phoenix to play the cheaper guys here and maybe fade a very high-owned Chris Paul, even though maybe it's an option to play Ayton. Centers have done well against Atlanta, but I do like Torrey Craig's shout out as well. He's cheap, and power forwards have done work against the Hawks. He's definitely going to get a lot more usage here. Go ahead and hit the like button. We are climbing to 5,000 likes, whether you like it or not. Let's get it. Run Pure Sports.
Pull up Parabay here.
Parabay.
He heard my rant. I got it up on the screen. Kelly O, everyone always says I go on these rants. Premium show. Oh, Big T said you can't play this guy. Oh, okay. Well, every time I'm wrong, I get show. What happens when I'm right? Everyone was talking shit yesterday on the premium show, and he got the nut run out. Everyone was traded and out. How'd he do? How'd he do, people?
Big T, just to follow up to that, you're going to live final, aren't you? I mean, you are right a lot more than you're wrong. You're headed to the final, are you not?
I'm just saying, like, sometimes I have strong takes over chalk plays too. Like, anyone can say to fade like guys that aren't owned. I take stands on tough plays sometimes, and people always want to have that same joke, like, oh, blah blah blah. You said to fade him, and he had Mixon. You said to fade Mixon, and he had 19 touchdowns. He shoved it up your ass, like all that stuff. I get it, but sometimes it goes my way. I just wanted to bring it up. Thank you, Parabay.
It is tough because Joe Mixon actually just scored again as you were speaking. But
He did score. He's definitely still scoring from that week.
M. Moray, that's how you pronounced your name, 9595, says some of these people poop with their shirt on.
Can you imagine? I want JT's take on this.
Listen,
There's no way you poop with a shirt on.
I will say this. So I was in an all-day meeting on Wednesday, and lunch was late. There was no breakfast. It was just poorly planned. And what do they order, Big T, for lunch? Guess what they fucking order for lunch?
Where was it at? What'd you say?
It was a company meeting, all-day meeting, and they ordered
what
lunch.
They ordered?
Yeah. What do you think they ordered?
I mean, I don't know.
I think it's Chipotle.
They ordered Chipotle? Burritos?
Sadly, it was Chipotle. Sweet Travis.
Like a variety or just all burritos?
No,
that was a nut hit right there. I think I used my rum pure way too soon.
Yeah, you might want to unregister from tonight's slate. But so they bring in Chipotle, and of course, JT from an Irish background. What does Chipotle do to JT? It runs through me. You would think that the fucking Chipotle was trying to get into the United States from Mexico, the way this raced out of my body. And I was like, I want to find the bathroom that's furthest away from everyone. Because
you always have to do that. Yeah,
I don't have a tie on, but I've got a suit on. So I've got a jacket on. I've got a dress shirt.
That's
I have to basically get completely fucking naked
to
get into the bathroom. Or the second option is I got to work really hard to let it just drip out so that there's not an explosion, that there's no water coming up. There's nothing going on. And I didn't know what to do. So the jacket came off. The shirt had to come off because I can't walk back in there with some chocolate juice running up my back. I mean, it just can't happen. So anyway, if you're planning a company event, no matter what, even if they think they've heard somewhere that the CEO loves Chipotle and they want to kiss that person's ass, it is never the right move. Know your audience.
We're going to screen door. Sometimes you got to drop it through the screen door.
I'll tell you, man, that was an uncomfortable feeling. We are climbing to 5,000 likes. Go ahead for more stories like this. Use code JTHayes15. 15% off of your first one's payment and a free
one. Can't have backsplash, William said.
and a Chipotle sandwich on me, or whatever the fuck they sell there. All right. We are moving on. We made K Fallick uncomfortable. Our day is complete. We are moving on to the next game. It is Chicago at Brooklyn. Brooklyn has traded everyone. What a horrendous disaster of a franchise. Brooklyn still favored by one, though. 226 total. Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson are not going to make their debut. Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Smith are available. Seth Curry is out. Daron Sharp I think he's still questionable. I saw that Yuta Watanabe is going to play. On Chicago, Caruso and Patrick Williams are probable. And as of right now, DeMar DeRozan is questionable. Big T, what'd you have for lunch today? And what do you think of this Chicago and Brooklyn game?
So there's so much news. Where's Cam Thomas at?
He's playing, but he's expensive. He costs 7.8K.
I don't even see him in my. I wonder what happened to him. What did I do to him?
I don't know.
But he is.
I don't even see him in my projections. Are we sure he's in?
I promise
Cam
you.
Thomas? Cam Johnson is out.
I'm
thinking about the dude that's been nuking. Cam Thomas.
You're using
my projections for some reason.
You're using the Ty Washington projections.
I might be. That's all I'm saying. I don't see him. How much is he on DK? Because I don't see him.
He's 7.8. He's very expensive. But
yeah, I mean, okay, well, 7.8. I don't have to worry about it then, anyways. So maybe that's why he wasn't in there. Maybe I pulled him out already.
Otherwise, not in your pool.
You could play him, but you're paying a hefty tag to do it for sure. It's not for me, but it's a hefty tag. You're getting him in a 1%.
I mean, they have a lot of bodies too. Just looking at this roster. So are we sure? Is DFS making his debut?
Yes.
Yeah. Him and Dinwiddie, and Dinwiddie's 8.1K. So
Dinwiddie has to hurt Cam a little bit too. Just has to. So I mean, this spot looks even easier of a fade than Orlando to me. There's a lot of bodies. Everyone's overpriced because they're kind of just getting the new rotations and stuff down. I mean, I can't even make a case for any of these guys. You look at the Chicago side, I mean, more of the same. I hate to like take cop-outs because I feel like I'm oversimplifying this slate, but that's how I play NBA. So I'm not going to like fake it and tell people to play guys I'm not going to play. I just don't see it. So maybe you guys got somebody from this game to play because I'm not playing anyone.
Well, we'll come back to you in a second because Jamal Murray was ruled out. We want to go back and talk about what that means and how you're viewing Denver here. But Sweet Travis, Chicago, Brooklyn. I mean, if DeRozan's out, I guess
JT, what kind of car payment is for content? I mean, what kind of car is $100 a month?
Been following you guys for a while. Great listen, but too cheap to pay a car payment.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Is it a bicycle? I mean, $100 a month for a car?
Is it one of those little scooters? One of those little scooters where, where they put doors on it and you just hop? Bins, what's going on? Bins, you know what? I got a great deal for you. Go ahead, subscribe now, JTHayes 15. You're not paying a car payment. We're going to get you into the Volkswagen. Don't worry about it. You don't have to worry. You do have to sweat the gas, though. I don't know. I don't know what a car payment is for $100. It's
93 Volvo is 78, Jay says.
All right, Sweet Travis. So what do you think here? Chicago and the Nets. Are you with Tony or
2004 Ford Fiesta? You guys got me dying.
We're off the rails.
One of my buddies had a Fiesta in high school. Those are classic.
Sweet Travis, hit us with the knowledge. Drop it.
Yeah, I'm just doing some quick car payments. I'm looking to see if there's anything under 100. I see
JT, we got so much time on this show. I got to get man going again here. Did you hear? Did we ever talk about this on the show? What this man did on a Sunday at 1:15 in my family room on an NFL Sunday? Have you heard this story?
I don't know.
So it's an NFL Sunday. I think it was me.
I can't wait to rebuttal. Give me a chance to rebuttal after
you. Let me tell it first. Then you can. So it's JSU. It's Mangone. Me, Uncle T was probably there. I don't know. There was 6, 7, 8 people. I don't know who was there. 1:15 NFL lock. We all got tons of action. Everybody's excited. The games are starting. Sweet Travis curls up in a ball in the corner of the couch with his laptop up like this. We're like, what are you making? The game's just started. You can't have pivots. He's like, oh no, I'm paying my car or my cell phone bill. Dude, at 1:15's in the corner of the couch, and then like a half hour later, he was paying his taxes in the corner of the couch, all on an NFL Sunday. You believe that? I want to hear his rebuttal.
Who the fuck pays their cell phone bill? I mean, you have an automatic payment thing, and you just boom, it comes right out of the account.
At 1:15 on a Sunday.
Why do you make your life so difficult, Sweet Travis?
All right, so my life was difficult because I was like, I didn't have like the passcode to get into my login thing, and I was like, it's easy. It just always sends me a message. I call the number and I just hit the button and it like takes me 30 seconds and it popped up and I was like, I need to make sure I pay it right now. So let's just get it out the way. I did it. Done.
No, hold on. I got to stop you because this is annoying now. You actually use the fucking phone to pay a bill?
Yeah, sadly. But I don't anymore.
Is it the phone and not the laptop? Did I mess the story up?
No, I don't anymore. I did the tax thing. So the phone thing I totally get. The other thing is a little more reasonable. So JTHayes. Tax season is normally April, but you can push it back to October.
Now he's flustered because he's going full name now. He's going full name now.
So I push it. I push the taxes back a bit, and I had realized because again, pretty crazy weekend with Big T. Right? There's not a lot. We're doing a lot of stuff. NFL, college football, not a lot of time. I realized in an email that by Monday I had to make sure to send something, and they sent me a number. They sent me something. They said, "Hey, I need you to send me this to finalize your tax stuff." And I said, I should probably send that so I don't get fined, right? That's ideal. So let me do this right now. Because you know what will happen? I'll completely forget. I'll watch football all day, and then I'll go to sleep. I'll be on the plane. And by the time I get back, I'm going to be screwed. So.
Bills with the teller at the bank.
The good news is I don't have to do that anymore. So
Did you? I mean, how do you pay your cable? Do you go to the fucking post office and get like a order?
Nah, my phone stuff got adjusted, so I'm good now. I don't have to do that anymore, so I'm all set, JT. We're good to go.
Cable bill at the play.
The best comment is Will just said, "Man,
licking stamps during football." Chat's too good. Licking stamps during football.
Marquet
Dave
says,
Malik was there too. Yes, Kevin was there. I forgot.
Marquet says he had to pay $40K in taxes just last year. Just brutal. It is, but you know what? If you use code JTHayes15, you'll have to pay even more next year because of the wins that you're going to have. Travis, break it down very quickly. Chicago Nets. What do you see here? The only thing I really see is if DeRozan is out. What you got?
Yeah, and also someone asked if I still have checks. I have 0 checks, so yeah, I don't really write them much. But anyways, let's keep this thing moving along. Chicago Bulls. I'm not really interested in the Nets, but the Chicago Bulls. If you told me DeRozan sat, there are some options to consider, right? The problem is, how do they grade out against these Suns and Lakers values? Probably not that great, right? You could make a case for some of the studs, right? Like a Vucevic, but he is center eligible, and we talked about how good center is. Zach LaVine has been very frustrating. That's the one that's been annoying with him, right? You can obviously see the flop lag spot with him, but you want to spend 8-6 on this slate? Yes, we have a lot of value, but I don't see myself going there. So overall, it does seem like a spot where I'm probably just staying away from the Bulls and Nets game. I mean, it could be one of those easy cross-off games. And again, yes, I know we want to look for ways to be different, but let's look for ways to be different with the way we build our lineups with like the Suns and the studs and the Lakers rather than the way that we're going with it.
I pulled this up on the screen just because of the profile picture. Is Bill Miner your grandfather, Travis?
No, that's very hurtful, JT. You know, my grandfather passed last year, so no, that's not Bill Miner. You know,
that's all right. That's all right. We all know what happens when people talk about JT's mother. So, all right. Bill Miner, by the way, I think that's a fantastic looking tie. Thank you for watching us.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bill Miner. Bill Miner, thank you for the thank you for that. If you haven't signed up at Run Pure, use Mangone15, not
wow, he got swooped in on JT there.
Yeah, that's all right. JTHayes15.
Jamal Murray out tonight.
Yeah. Yes. So let's go right back to that. As a matter of fact, Mangone got that news on his beeper. Tony.
I used to love that, by the way, and I know Mangone wasn't old enough for this, but my first couple jobs, huh?
I didn't have Big T being a beeper guy on my bingo card today.
It's another good story because it brings me back to like my original roots of sports betting. Like back in high school, JT will remember this for sure. I know he will. But they came out with these pagers that would give all the sports scores too. It was before cell phones and everything. So, like, at work, you would have the pager, and that would be how you get all the damn scores. So you'd put your bets in while you're working. It would be great. Like, it would be like the ticker at the bottom of ESPN. It would just flip through there. I love that freaking beeper. Did you have one of those, JT?
I did. That was the evolution from what Travis still does, which he calls the sports hotline. So he still does that. But
all right, Ronald says I'm not old enough to know what a beeper is. That's hurtful. I'm 32. I'm not.
No, I think he's in that range. I just he was on the tail end of my range. So, and he's younger than me. I knew it couldn't have hit home with him.
I got to experience both being around. I took the cord and plugged it into the internet. Right, I did that, but I look younger than I am. So yeah, I mean it's a good thing overall. I had someone the other day say I was 22, and I was like, geez, that makes me feel good right now. I don't think I look that young.
The thing about beeper season, it wasn't very long. It was in vogue for maybe a couple of years. And then
it was a quick window.
Yeah. The huge brick cell phones came out and everybody was lathered up over those and wanting.
And we turned to the flip phones, right? The flip or the regular bricks. And then the flip phones were good. And then we got really fancy. They get the sidekick. You had the keypad one. They were all
what was the one before the iPhone that everyone loved?
The BlackBerry?
The Blackberries. Yes. Yeah, the Blackberries. People loved those before the iPhone.
Yeah. They were Canadian.
The Blackberries were?
Yeah.
All right. I believe it.
I see you're impressed with that.
So, I wonder if Tambo has one. Maybe Tambo still rocks a BlackBerry.
Maybe that's how he gets all the winners.
He's got enough money to get the newest technology, so I doubt that he's rocking the BlackBerry. But Big T, people are asking about Ish Smith with just a ton of value on this slate, and knowing that these other high usage guys for Denver are in. I'm not all that excited. I'll have to see how he projects. I just can't imagine that he's going to project much better than many of these better plays, in my opinion. But you do have Bruce Brown. You have Joker, obviously. You've got Aaron Gordon. What do you see here with Denver now that Jamal Murray has been ruled out?
Yeah, I'm glad they did it early too, because it does clear the deck a little. I still can't play Ish Smith. I mean, unless somehow, which he's not going to start. Like somehow, if he started, he could be in play for me at 30, but he's not going to.
He's not. They're going to start Bruce Brown. The only reason Ish Smith got as much minutes was because Bruce Brown rolled his ankle, missed that.
And they were up 40.
Like, yeah, exactly.
They're smashing that team. But yeah, so now Bruce Brown is definitely in play at 4,900. He has to be. And again, like we said with Aaron Gordon, I'm not going to play him because I'm not on that mid-tier build, but he definitely has 50-point upside versus his old team, the Magic. So if I was playing 150, I would definitely have Bruce Brown and Aaron Gordon in my player pool, maybe even a little MPJ, but I don't know. I'm still probably not going to be on these guys, but Bruce Brown's a decent play, and Yoke is an even better play, obviously, with Jamal out now. 900 numbers for
Cohen's still using MCI for service.
I wonder if you think there's still any 900 numbers that still work?
I don't know.
People used to call that that would have been the original Run Pure. Like call 1-900 Run Pure and you get the play of the night.
That's not a bad idea.
We should reopen it.
Yeah, sign up our boy DC for the
15.
service.
Sign up
JTHayes 15 and you get
Run Pure's the right amount of numbers too, right? 1-900 Run Pure. I mean, we might be onto something here.
Yeah, if you call, it's the play of the day given out in K. Fallick's surly voice. Travis.
We should have him do the voice. You're right. Yeah.
Right. Travis, thoughts on Jamal Murray being out before we get to the last game of the night that could be either the late night hammer or the late night quicksand?
Yeah, before I get to that, like 274 likes with 700 watching. What are we doing here? I mean, come on, let's figure this out. I mean,
clearly not getting the plays of the day is what we're not doing, because
you're not getting the plays of the day. I'm not giving you my beeper play of the day. It's just not happening. So, but anyways, so yeah, let's talk about this
retro play of the day.
Yeah, these are all good ones. I'm sure people will come up with some funny ones for sure. But I think, like I said before, a lot of people are playing Chris Paul, Jokic, and like one of Giannis or AD as their studs. Well, I always like to do, everyone's building their lineup like this. You should build it like this. Why not play Chris Paul and play Aaron Gordon? Couldn't you see Aaron Gordon go for 40 or 50 DK points in this spot? Certainly. A little bit of a revenge game too for our boy Aaron Gordon. I think he's pretty interesting at his price. I think Bruce Brown in that point guard role is not bad either. So I think overall, Aaron Gordon, really good option to consider as a pivot off of Chris Paul if you'd like. And then Bruce Brown, I won't sleep on him as well. So those are definitely guys that I'm looking at as pivots. Not really any of the other options. Don't mess around with these KCPs and these other type of players that might bait you into it. There's way too many good values on this slate to be messing with that.
All right, go ahead, hit the like button. We need to get to 5,000, obviously, for the plays of the day. So you got a little bit of work to do, about 4,700 more to go. Last game on the slate, 10 o'clock, Thursday night. Be liquored up, looking for the bathroom, taking your shirt off when this one tips off. It is Milwaukee in Los Angeles, 238.5 total. Very nice. Milwaukee favored by 7.5 on the road here. Lots of people going to be out here for the Lakers. Mo Bamba is out. LeBron James is out. Malik Beasley is not going to make his debut. Davion Reed, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt will not make their debuts either. On the Milwaukee side, Giannis is probable. Jay Crowder is not going to play. Joe Ingles is out. Bobby Portis is out. Brooke Lopez is in, however, sweet Travis. And I know there's two spend-ups at center. There's also some very intriguing spend downs at center. But this Lakers team has been terrible against big men, against opposing centers. Can you see yourself getting to any Brooke Lopez on this slate? And then thoughts on this game overall.
Yeah, I don't think I see myself getting to too much Brooke Lopez here on this slate. Giannis, obviously a pretty interesting play. Another interesting mid-tier guy that I think could find his way there. The problem is, and let's see if the minutes went up last game. I'm not sure, but I think you could make a case for a Chris Middleton.
Minutes haven't moved. I keep waiting for it. They just haven't.
It moved to 22 last game.
That's not no move.
Oh, yeah, but you want to be there.
Not on this slate especially. You can't play Middleton.
Yeah, it's going to be tougher. If he was like 4-7 or something, I think you maybe find
definitely 4-7.
I think it's tougher for sure. But I was just curious, right? We want to kind of look.
I mean, even if he got like another slight ball, I mean, you can't play a dude at 5,500 or whatever getting 24 minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely harder for sure. One guy who hits the flow chart today is Drew Holiday, right? And I'm not saying I want to play him, but like a pivot off Chris Paul, would it be crazy to see Drew Holiday outscore Chris Paul, put up 50 DK points, and it leverages Giannis a little bit? I don't think it's the craziest thing, especially with that Lakers.
Explain this to me as a guy that does projections, and you've heard me do this rant before, Mangone.
Yeah,
he's projected for like 40, but across the industry, he pops. You go to his game log. I'm not saying to do that, but 37, 28, 28, 41, 33, 44. Like, why is he projected 40? Like, explain it to me.
It's the data from sample size, right? People want
just a huge sample.
It's a huge sample that they want, and they're not ready to adjust down that he's maybe gotten worse, right? That there is a
drop. How could you possibly play him? And I agree with your point. Could he outscore Chris Paul? Of course he could, absolutely. But like, how could you play him over Chris Paul?
Yep. I mean, I think that's part of the reasons why those projections are like that, for sure. And it doesn't account for, and one reason it's probably accounting for is when you pull like a Bobby Portis off the court, like that is a lot of usage to go around. But the way it's kind of been like said is like, well, Chris Middleton's kind of slid into that role pretty nicely. And sometimes things don't adjust for different guys stepping into better roles as well, where they're benefiting a ton. So that's kind of one of the angles to probably play there. Overall, the Lakers, really, really good plays. Obviously, Lonnie Walker at 3-1. Again, another guy, guard and forward eligible, can slide into so many roster spots, right? He can shoot and guard, small forward, guard, forward, and utility. That's 5 different spots that he can slide into while other guys can't. So I think really good play, Lonnie Walker. I know Spread was making fun of him a little bit on the show, but I think he's like a solid producer here and can get the job done. Rui Hachimura, we know he is someone that is a pretty good fantasy producer. Now, I don't love him playing next to AD, but there is enough usage, I think, to go around where at that price tag, I think you have to consider Rui as an option. One thing to really like about Dennis Schroeder in this role is, when have we seen Dennis Schroeder thrive? Well, we've seen him thrive when he can be the main guy. I'm not saying he's the main guy here on the team, but he's the main ball handler, right? Which I think that is going to benefit him for sure. I think Dennis Schroeder, really good play, but you have to pay $5K for it. Like if you told me Dennis Schroeder or Chris Middleton, understand different positions and slightly different prices, but I would easily want to go to a Dennis Schroeder here instead, just because I think it's a pretty good role here for him. So I think he's a pretty strong play. Troy Brown is one of those cheaper wings, like him and Wenyen Gabriel. What do you do with them in this spot? I know Rubio's out there peeling to Wenyen Gabriel. And
I'm sure seriously still like him.
Oh, he loves Wenyen Gabriel. He is like the biggest fan of him. But those are kind of like the ones I just mentioned before. Lonnie Walker, Schroeder, Anthony Davis. Those are all like the tier 1 options. But I think those other guys I'm mentioning now, the Troy Browns, the Wenyen Gabriels, they're like the last piece filler, tier 2, tier 3 options that you'd consider value play wise. But we did just get some really interesting news come across the timeline. I don't know if it's just this, so I'm pulling it up now. Nicholas Claxton is questionable here in this spot. So if he doesn't play, that could open up a little bit more on Brooklyn. But overall, these Lakers values are priorities, and so are the Suns. And we have to figure out what is the right mix of them. What you do sometimes is I pull up teams and I kind of like to look and see what are the top teams that I'm noticing on my end. And what I like to notice when I do this, and I'm stalling a little bit to be able to pull it up, is because I see teams that go maybe like, some of them go like 3 Lakers, 3 Suns, right? Maybe instead I'll do a mix of, like I said before, 3 Suns and 2 Lakers, and then I'll mix in 3 other players where I go a little underweight on it. Or if I see most of the teams are playing 6 of them, maybe I'll go 5 Lakers and then like 1 Sun, right? Or I'll go like 4 and 2. I try to look for those ways to kind of be different with playing them rather than just being like, let me be different by fading them. I don't think that's the right approach. I think these values are too good to play. They're clearly mispriced in amazing situations. We just have to find the right ways to mix and match them. Maybe you think that the Suns are great plays. You want to make sure to play them. How can you be different with it? Like Big T said, maybe you play those Suns plays, but you just fade Chris Paul. How many teams are going to play 3 Suns and not have Chris Paul? There is not a lot of them, right? A lot of them are going to start with him and then plug in like 2 or 3 values with it. So that's definitely ways to think about how to be different with your roster construction.
All right. Richie Smalls 2320 says, with Claxton out, Vuk has to be a smash. A lot of people thought that about Joel Embiid last night. Not so much the case. Big T, Milwaukee, the Lakers, and Giannis is probable. What do you think of this trend with the NBA and everyone being a game time decision, several game time decisions, every slate on every team?
Yeah, I mean, I hate it, obviously, especially when it's a 10 o'clock game. I obviously think Giannis will play, but man, are you in trouble if he
He's
doesn't?
probable. He's probably to be
Yeah,
clear,
I'm just saying,
probable.
like when there's only one, I should have been clear. I'm not speaking totally like I think he could sit. I'm just saying in a 10 o'clock slot, it's the NBA. You never truly know in these days until they're out on the court. Like, if somehow he got rolled out or something, it would be the weirdest slate ever because there's no real pivots. I guess you could go to AD, but a lot of people are going to have AD with them. Just really hairy spot. But I think this late game is very simple, again, where Giannis is the only Milwaukee guy I'm going to like. I think he's probably the best play of the night. I mean, he's got the highest floor and the highest ceiling. His price is huge, but the price doesn't matter tonight. It's a floor slate, like Mangone said, where all these cheap guys, if he gets you, I mean, he won the seat the other night for John with 50 piece. I don't really see a way to fade Giannis on this slate, and he's not totally just center. Like Jokic and AD are both center only. You can play Giannis at power forward. He looks like a lock to me with all this value. So I'm going to have him.
Jokic, Tony, you got to pick one. If you could,
I mean, I would take Giannis over him for sure, just because of the power forward.
Okay.
Where I mean, I want two studs though, at least, so that it gets interesting. But
for sure, I'm not saying you can't play both.
Yeah.
You can.
I would take Giannis for sure, not the top stud tonight, just because of that power forward.
I had to pick for the record. I think I'd prefer Jokic over him, but it's
I mean,
close, and I might have both.
More than likely. I'm going to play both of them for sure.
Correct.
So like, it's not going to come down to it, but yeah. And then the Lakers are just great. I mean, Lonnie Walker is definitely a lock to me. Just looking at these numbers, I mean, he's 3,100. I don't know how you really get around that. Schroeder's a great play. AD's a great play. Rui. We want to see the starting lineup, but I'm guessing it'll be Schroeder, Walker, Troy Brown, Rui, AD. I mean, I would think that'd be their five. And then you got like Gabriel, Austin Reeves, Christie, this Swider dude off the bench. I mean, they're just really, really good plays, every one of them. And the good part is, even if it blows out, outside of AD would not be a good play in a blowout. The rest of them should still be pretty good plays, even if they got blown out. So, I don't know. Best plays of the slate to me are them and Phoenix, just like everyone. But, again, I don't think hardly anyone's going to play the 3-stud build that I think is very viable. Which the one guy you're going to have to give up to do this, well, Chris Paul too, but Schroeder. Like, you won't be able to play Schroeder in a build like this.
Yep.
I like Schroeder, and I think I have two teams tonight because the way the tournaments were. So I might play one where I play the 3 studs and then the other one, Schroeder. So, yeah, I don't know. I love the Lakers, though.
Gator Nation 15 Bucks on a back-to-back. They actually played the night before last, so they are not on a back-to-back, so you don't have to worry about that. Sweet Gator Nation. All right, let's see. What are the likes at? Oh,
do we get to 5,000 yet?
My God, it's disgusting. Oh, it's disgusting. 335. I'll leave it to you. I mean, this was fun. We had a great time. The camaraderie, the connection, the chemistry, the humor. And 335 likes. It's up to you guys. It's up to you guys. You want to give the plays, or should we put them in the Discord? I don't know. I really don't know what to do. I don't know.
I only got the one free show. We got it. We got to give them for the people.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Big T hates when we do this, but I love to just say, "Hey, Big T, what's the decision?" He hates when that happens.
I mean, myself personally, I want the damn Eiffel Tower when I come on Thursdays because it leads me to winners.
It's a great point. And hey, JT, I signed up for the queue today, so I need the Eiffel Tower play of the day. So give me the plays.
Oh, man, goes in. That's a reason to give the plays out in itself. JT does have Vita. Sweet Travis.
Sweet Travis, I'm disgusted, but go ahead. Give your play of the day.
I just realized JTHayes' face is in the marshmallows.
You never knew that? Yeah, that's like the best touch to the actual.
I've never
photo.
seen that part. I've never looked that close, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's
That's good stuff there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful sight to see. I guess ownership, it's one of those slates. It's tough because obviously ownership is we don't want to be giving out like the super chalkiest plays in the world, but let's see. One guy I like, right? If you want to find that Chris Paul pivot, right? I talked about it before. Fade Chris Paul, slide over to Aaron Gordon against the Magic, get to save a little bit of money, and it still gives you that same build. You go with the big T 3-stud build if you want to, but if you still want to be able to grab Dennis Schroeder, a great way to do it is not play Chris Paul and go over to Aaron Gordon. You could see Jokic and Aaron Gordon both have big games. They did it the other day in just a half against the Timberwolves. I watched it live in person. Jokic put up 67. Gordon had 50. They get that full game, and the Magic have been playing well. I think Aaron Gordon is a really great pivot off of Chris Paul to give you a little bit of different construction than the field.
Aaron Gordon. And of course, the people will be happy as well, Sweet Travis, because it's revenge for being traded to a fucking championship contender. But whatever. All right. We will move on. We are going to go to.
Can it even be considered revenge if go ahead first? I'll say it.
No. I want to hear. I'm sorry. We'll put that back.
Well, I got excited when I saw the tripod pop up, though, so I got a little distracted with excitement. But I mean, this dude. Now I don't even remember what I was saying because I was so excited. But I mean, Gordon. Oh yeah, I was saying to go from Orlando where he gets screwed in the dunk contest. Now he gets to play with freaking Yoke every night. Like, man, talk about Christmas. This dude gets so many easy dunks. They never guard him on defense.
No. They just collapse. They see Jokic, they collapse. He fakes the pass left and then throws it right inside.
I'm not the big stat guy. I'm sure there's someone has this stat out there, but he has to get the most easy dunks of almost anyone in basketball. Just catch it, dunk it.
Good luck contesting it. It's an and one every time. That
Yeah.
dude's not missing a dunk there. No chance.
Now the tripod. I ruined the tripod moment.
Here we go. We're on. Yeah, you guys talked about it, right? I mean, this is a very, very chalky slate, and I don't feel that it's appropriate to go with one of the lower priced plays, right? Because they're going to be very popular. I love Dennis Schroeder tonight for the reasons that Travis, you talked about, but he's probably going to be 35-40% owned, and I can't do that to the people. So I'm looking, and I'm going to make a decision here, and yeah, I think certainly it's for someone like me who's going to play a bunch of lineups. It's a really good night to multi-enter because you can do the 3-stud build that Big T talked about. You can do things a little bit differently after that. And one of the ways that I am going to build is I'm going to take advantage of some of these centers that are in good spots. And I can't avoid it. He's close. He's somewhere from the vicinity of France, and he gets to go home again tonight. The kid in chat was right. Nikola Vucevic is the Eiffel Tower play of the day. Now, you got Gordon, you got Vucevic. This one I'm interested to hear because we know that you like Schroeder. We know that you like the cheap Lakers. We know that you like the cheap Suns. We know that you don't like Chris Paul. We know that you don't like the mid-range centers. I really don't know where the fuck you're going to go, Big T, for the workbench play of the day as Creepy Holden and Hoop look on.
Yeah, I mean, so it is a little tough because, again, like you guys said, my favorite plays are that build where it's all studs and cheapies, and it's not going to leave me with an opportunity to really – I'm trying to find like one of these cheapies that might be really low owned. One of them could be like Ish Wainwright or something where if he doesn't start, I could see him being really low. But I'm not going to do that. I'm only on the one free show. So I'm just going to make it easy, and I'm going to give a 4-man core for my play of the day. And it's the 3 studs, AD, Giannis, Yoke, like we've talked about all slate, and Lonnie Walker. So you got 4 high-owned guys. Make no mistake about that. But as Sweet Travis can confirm, those 4 together, I can almost promise you, besides people watching this show, that's less than like 5% owned, I think, between the teams that will play all 4 together. So I'm counting it as a low-owned play, even though it's 4 chalky guys. That roster construction will not be popular. There's no way it's popular. So that's my play of the day. I could give, if I was given one, I would pivot like on my second team to like a Ish Wainwright type play if I was given one, but that's not going to be on my main team, so I won't go with that.
A 4-man core. Give it to the people. Give it to the people one more time. The names in the 4-man core.
AD, Giannis, Yoke, Lonnie Walker.
AD, Giannis, Jokic, Lonnie Walker. Love to see it. Guys, thanks again for watching. If you're not a member, use code JTHayes15. Get 100% off your first month's payment. That may or may not be true.
Elizabeth says he's giving one instead he gives 5. Wainwright won't be on that build unless he starts. I'll say that. If he starts, though, decent chance he did get 5.
He could find his way in there.
It would be a 5-man core if he starts.
He could creep and sneak into the core. For Sweet Travis, for Big T, I'm JTHayes.
15, right?
JTHayes 15. Like I said, 100% off your first month's payment. Up to Lock is coming up. Don't miss it. JT, get us out of here.